Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thanks for pressing play. Today we have a final number for the C8 Corvette Z06 at the Nürburgring. Yes, you heard me right. We finally have a number that tells us just how fast the C8 Corvette Z06 is around the Nürburgring. And, well, it's disappointing. Let's talk about it. All right. So after 2+ years of the C8 Corvette Z06 being out, we finally have a number. We finally have the Nürburgring number. Now, before we get into what that number is, I want to preface this with, we've talked a lot about this number on this channel, a lot about why the Nürburgring time matters, why a lot of automotive companies decide to share it, and even why some don't decide to share it. So what happened here? The Chevrolet team has been over at the Nürburgring with the C8 Corvette a bunch of times. It is no surprise that the Stingray has a Nürburgring time. The Z06 should have one. The E-Ray should have one. The ZR1's been there. We should have numbers for these cars. But we didn't get one for the Z06. And I remember even at the time when we were really expecting the time for this car to come, I was very surprised that we didn't get one. And there was really only two possible reasons for that. The first one is that they ran into some trouble over there. They didn't have a clean track. There was other traffic on the track. It was raining, it was cold, etc. All of those reasons I could believe. But number two, the second reason always resonated in the back of my mind as a very real possibility that I didn't want to believe, and that was that the time wasn't that great. They didn't want to share it because it wasn't mind-blowing. I found that to be particularly hard to believe, especially after I drove the C8 Corvette Z06, because it is an unbelievably fantastic, fast-feeling car. But with all of that said, the number came out, and it is, like I said, disappointing. So, here it is, guys. The number is 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Almost 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. This is at least 12 seconds slower than I thought it was going to be. Now, this is not necessarily 100% a official time by any means. This was done by the people over at Sport Auto. So that YouTube channel had some of their fairly professional drivers go over there and do this. So it is and it isn't official. It's not official because GM didn't put it out. But at the same time, this is a pretty good example of what this car can do. Now, this is very disappointing because this comes on the heels of another YouTuber who had talked about the Z06 over at the Nürburgring and made it sound very much so like this car was easily able to get under a 7-minute Nürburgring time. And that YouTuber is, of course, Misha Charudin. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that, but he is basically the same kind of thing as Sport Auto. He's basically a professional driver. He took the C8 Z06 over to the Nürburgring and with the Z07 package said that the car was easily capable of hitting under a 7-minute time.
So without the traffic, me knowing the car maybe a bit better would have been an easy sub 7. However, if you put a professional driver or even development driver who knows the car inside out with a better setup, maybe more camber, maybe who knows what else, better seats, that car is probably sub 992 GT3 territory, so sub 7. And
so, what's going on here? Why did Sport Auto put out a 7-minute, 10-second lap time at the Nürburgring? I'm not sure. Somebody's wrong here. So either Misha's wrong or the Sport Auto guys are wrong. I'm not really sure at this point which one it is. Unfortunately, I'm not capable of going over to the Nürburgring and putting down a better time, I'm sure. I'm not a professional driver by any means, let alone have anywhere near the capabilities to get this car to the Nürburgring. So, unfortunately, I can't say for sure, but nonetheless, I've been following this Sport Auto story for quite some time now, and I was really expecting them to come out with something crazy, like a 6-minute and 48-second time or something. I did not see 7 minutes and 10 seconds coming. This is definitely not what I thought we were going to get. Now, the reasoning. The reason that Sport Auto says that they got this 7-minute time and they claimed it's because of a ultra long gear ratio in 5th gear. So Sport Auto came out and said that the reason for this time, the reason they got 7 minutes and 10 seconds and the reason it doesn't break that 7-minute barrier, they said is caused by the 5th gear being absolutely horribly ultra long. And that basically robs the performance on the straights. So they don't have enough gear to basically force this thing into a massive top speed on the straights on the Nürburgring. So basically the gearing is the issue here, or so they say. Now, again, I'm going to link all of the videos down in the description below, guys, if you're interested in the Sport Auto or the Misha video, because both of them give a little bit of a contradicting story here, and I'm not 100% sure who to believe here at this point, but nonetheless, I really saw that 7 minutes and 10 seconds and was just not super happy about it. So I guess you can kind of take either one of these two stories with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, if it's not GM doing it, there's not anything that necessarily says this is 100% accurate, but at the same time, this is the best we got. This is it. This is the only solid number that has come out of the Nürburgring, so it is worth something in that aspect. So the actual quote from Sport Auto says that, quote unquote, the reason why the C8 lap time on the Nürburgring is not faster is due to the ultra-long gear ratio of 5th gear. In 5th gear, the revs collapse, and the Z06 drives at quite low revs over the top speed sections of the Nürburgring and does not reach high top speeds here. With a shorter gear ratio in 5th gear, a sub-7 time might be possible. During our test on the Nürburgring, Aaron Link, who is the Global Vehicle Performance Manager at Chevrolet, also revealed the secret and showed us an unpublished onboard video of the internal Corvette lap time on the Nürburgring, which was also 7 minutes and 10 seconds. So very interesting here, guys. I didn't read that until just now as I'm going through all of this. So yeah, this sounds like it's pretty official. And it is officially disappointing. Man, I don't know. Anyway, guys, there it is. I'm not going to drag this video out any longer than it has to be. I wanted to get this out to you as fast as I possibly could because this is news, even though it is pretty disappointing. I really don't quite understand how it could possibly be that time whenever I know the C7 Z06 was pushing right around that same time, again, unofficially. Anyway, let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Let's engage in a conversation here. I really expected a faster time. I'm assuming you did too. Let me know what you guys expected this time to be and if you're disappointed by it as well. If you liked what you saw, guys, please smash the thumbs up button. Even though it's not good news, let me know that you're liking the fact that I'm covering it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, guys, stay obsessed.